If you're at that point where she wants a bit of her own life. Okay. She's at the point where she wants a bit of her own life. Oh my fucking Christ. This video's not meant to happen. Hi and welcome to BookTube with Simon and Amy. This is going to be my review of Picture Imperfect by Jacqueline Wilson. So for anybody who isn't familiar, Picture Imperfect is Jacqueline Wilson's adult follow-up novel to The Illustrated Mum, which is one of her most popular kids books in the UK. And for anybody who isn't familiar with who Jacqueline Wilson is, in case you're watching from elsewhere in the world and she maybe isn't as prominent a figure where you're from, she is one of the most successful writers of middle grade fiction in the UK. She is amazing. She wrote books for kids when I was a kid. She is still writing kids books today, and she's actually decided to go back and revisit some of her most popular books and give us adult updates, which I think is the most amazing thing ever. I think it's super cool. She did Think Again recently, which was the follow-up to the Girls series that she wrote, which were some of my favourite books when I was growing up. They are some of like the first books I remember really getting into when I was sort of old enough to be picking what I wanted to be reading myself. And this is her follow-up to Illustrated Mum, which is also one of my favourite ones that I read for when I was wee. So the basic premise of Illustrated Mum is we're following Star and Dolphin. Mainly Dolphin, she's the main character, but Star is heavily involved. They are sisters and they are grown up with their mum Marigold, and their mum has bipolar disorder, and we are following them through some of their mum's manic episodes and just how their childhood is, and it's obviously quite tumultuous, and they have a bit of a difficult time with it. And Star and Dolphin's relationship is complicated by the fact that Star strives for and wants quite a normal life, and Dolphin feels like that is going to offend Marigold, and she feels really protective of her mum, and so there's a wee bit of disharmony between the girls, and it's really just about sort of a year in their life and how that looks. And then this is set about 20-30 years later, and they are grown up, and it is about where they are now and how their lives are getting on. And I just think that that is such a really cool idea. I loved seeing where these characters were, and they were ages of me when I read the books, they're ages of me now, and I really enjoyed that element of it. So I will give a wee bit of a spoiler-free review. I will give you my rating, and then I think I probably will go into some spoilers nearer the end of the video for this one, because I feel like there's some stuff I just want to say, basically. So Dolphin is in a bed sit. She is a tattoo artist, and she is the one who is caring for Marigold, who is now, you know, much older, and she feels basically she's never really had a go at her own life because she is the one that needs to constantly pick up the pieces when Marigold goes through her manic episodes. And Star went away, she did really well at uni, she became a doctor, married a doctor, has a family, moved away, so she's very much living her own life. And while her and Dolphin, they still have a relationship, Dolphin feels a real strong sense of resentment against Star, because she feels like, you get to live your life and do what you want and I don't, because I'm left here and you're the oldest, so you should be taking care of mum. And so we really get to explore their relationship throughout this book, and we sort of get to see both the girls, well, both the women's viewpoints, and sort of how their views and how their relationship with Marigold impacts their relationship as sisters and their lives as sisters. And so I really enjoyed that aspect of this book. I thought it was really well done. We go on a bit of a journey with Dolphin throughout this. At the beginning, she's dealing with one of Marigold's manic episodes, and it's clearly just, you know, a never-ending cycle of things being alright and her getting a job and somewhere to live and finding her feet and getting some friends, and then Marigold having a bit of a breakdown, her having to sort of abandon everything and, you know, missed events for her friends, leave jobs, get sacked, you know, lose friends, relationships, that type of thing, so that she can deal with Marigold. And she's basically just at the end of her rope by the time we come into this book, and she's feeling really bitter, she's feeling really resentful, and so at the point we meet Dolphin in this book, she's very much at the point of wanting her own life, and she's really coming to terms with who she is as a person, you know, some of the crappy choices that she's made over the years that haven't helped her situations, but she's like, I know where I want to be, I don't really know how I'm going to get there, but I know what I want. And so we sort of go on this wee journey with her of trying to get there, even though there are a fair few missteps along the way. I don't think that Dolphin by any means is a perfect character, and I think after seeing the stuff that we saw her live through in the Illustrated Mum, I think if you were expecting her to be a perfect character in this, then like it's maybe a bit unrealistic. I think that, you know, you can definitely see the difference between her and Star, although I think in this book you do realise that Star is far more affected than maybe what meets the eye. And Dolphin at a point in this book is just terrified of becoming her mum, and that is like the last thing that she wants, basically. And I think that that was interesting to see, and I really enjoyed the fact that things ended on quite a happy note for Dolphin. She really came to understand how she was going to stand on her own 2 feet, and she really came around to accepting who she was and what she wanted and knowing how she was going to get there. And I was really pleased about that. It was nice that it ended on a really good note for her, and while nothing was perfect, as the title suggests, you know, it wasn't a picture perfect snapshot of her life. It was pretty imperfect, but it was hers, and she ended this book a lot more sure of herself, a lot more confident, and it was just really nice to see. And I think that something that I've enjoyed about the Jacqueline Wilson adult ones, Think Again and Picture Imperfect, is, you know, we see these characters in the children's books and they maybe have these issues, whether it's body hang-ups or self-confidence or mental health issues or however that looks, and when they're adults they aren't perfect people, because I think that when you're younger and you see adults having it together, you sort of assume that they are perfect people, and actually they aren't. Like, it's alright that these are women in their 30s and they didn't have every aspect of their life together. Like, that is fine. They're still figuring stuff out. They're still figuring out how to be confident in themselves. They're still figuring out what it is that they want to do in life. And I think that we're so focused on, you need to have everything that you want to do for the rest of your life sorted out before you leave high school or you'll be fucked. And like, if you didn't know exactly what you want to be doing at uni for the rest of your life and you don't go to uni, then you're fucked. And if you didn't have a relationship and kids by this point in your life, then you're fucked. If you don't own a house by this point in your life, then you're fucked. And like, you actually don't need to be. And so I really liked that. I thought that Think Again and Picture Imperfect have both been pretty empowering for that, and it's alright to get your act together later in life. Like, there's no time limit on personal growth, and you know, you can keep developing, keep achieving, keep changing, evolving, and actually that's pretty healthy and something to be respected. So I really enjoyed that aspect of this book. Marigold was a much more prominent feature of Illustrated Mum than she is in Picture Imperfect, and that makes complete sense because in Illustrated Mum she's obviously the main caregiver for both the girls and they're living with her, whereas in this she's in and out of hospital, and so she is a secondary character, and I really liked the way that was done, because you got to see Dolphin when she was being like carer Dolphin and nurse Dolphin, and then Dolphin when she was being herself, and you also got to see Marigold like finally come around to accepting that she needs to manage her mental health and that it can be managed but nobody else is going to do it for her. And I really enjoyed the way that the topic of bipolar disorder was handled in here. I felt like it was done really respectfully. I feel like, you know, seeing Marigold sort of come to that realisation, it was quite emotive, and like you were really, I always really rooted for Marigold. I rooted for Marigold in Illustrated Mum as well. I always sort of wanted her to get her finger out and just be like, right, I'm going to take my meds, I'm going to do the therapy, I'm going to do X, Y, Z and get myself together. And I think at the end of this we really see her get that, and I think it was nice for Dolphin to see her mum get that drive and be in that mindset and no feel like it was her responsibility to get her there, and she could actually just take her foot off the gas a wee bit, and you know, her mum still found her own way, and that gave her a lot of confidence to sort of go and live her life. So I really enjoyed that element of this, and then I rated this a 4-star. So there were some elements of this book that I just wasn't really a huge fan of. I feel like I'll get into it more in the spoiler section, but spoiler free, there's like a bit in the middle of the book where I feel like it definitely lulls, and there's just some stuff added in that I didn't really feel made a huge amount of difference to the overall plot, and we probably could have done with less of that, and I feel like the ending was wrapped up pretty quickly. So spoiler free, that's why it was a 4-star. I'm going to head straight into spoiler territory now. So if you don't want to be spoiled, you can head away for this video in just a second. I have the lovely Waterstones edition of this that Simon had purchased for me. It's got like the lovely end papers. It's a naked hardback with a wee slip cover, which is beautiful. But we had also actually pre-ordered a standard edition from Amazon, and so I thought it would be fun to do a giveaway for you guys, so you can have a brand new hardback copy of this book if it's something that you're interested in. All you need to do is you need to comment down below in this video, you need to be subscribed to us, and you need to be following us over on Instagram, which I will link down below. I will draw this at the end of the month, so if you're interested in entering into that competition, make sure you're subscribed, make sure you comment, make sure you're following us on Instagram so you can keep up to date with all your backstage shenanigans and newest videos coming out, and I will get this sent across to you. So heading into spoiler territory now, you have been fully warned. So Dolphin gets a job working at a summer camp for theatre kids, and she helps them with art, she helps, you know, create the sets for their stage shows, and she really enjoys it, and it's actually one of the things that brings her a lot of confidence, and so I enjoyed seeing that in her. However, there's just like this entire cast of kids that come into it, and we get to know some of these kids pretty well, and we spend a lot of time with Dolphin at this school, and I didn't feel like that was hugely necessary, because we could have established the confidence being built, and we could have established her figuring out a new career path through this summer school without needing to have spent so much time there. She ends up having a relationship with one of the other teachers in the school as well, and so she cheats on her current partner Lee. Now, I don't think that Lee is good for her. I don't think that she is good for Lee. I think that they were both looking for different things, and they weren't a very well matched couple, but I don't think he deserved to be cheated on, and I didn't enjoy that element of this. I understand why Dolphin did cheat, and I understand where it was coming from in terms of her personality, but I didn't feel like it really was warranted overall, and I felt like it could have been handled a lot better if she had just broke up with Lee and then had a dalliance with this teacher if she wanted. And I feel like the only reason that this was in the book was like for the ending, so that there was sort of a bit of a love triangle, complicated Jeremy Kyle-ish sitch, and I just didn't think that it was necessary, really. I didn't enjoy that, and like I say, I felt the ending was wrapped up very, very neatly. I did this on audio, and you sort of forget like everything coming to light within the last 8 minutes of the audio book. Like, it is wrapped up very, very swiftly, and I just didn't enjoy that. I feel like I would have much preferred if we had less of the time in the school in the middle, less of the time focused on this like love triangle cheating thing, and more time spent on Dolphin at the end of the book actually coming to the realisation, you know what, I really like my life and I really like where my life is going, and just her being happy. I feel like it ended on a really happy note, but I just didn't get as much of the happiness as I would have liked. So that's why it was a 4-star for me and not a 5-star. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you're enjoying everything that you're reading at the moment. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to enter into the giveaway, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.